Hello, everyone. This is the weekly review for October 12th to October 16th for AP World History. Our four-class focus this week had been on effective communication. We had shifted from respect and began focusing on communication. The week began with an analysis of networks of exchange. We talked about the similarities and differences of the networks of exchange, including the four major networks being the Chinese Silk Roads, the Indian Ocean Basin trade, the Mediterranean sea lanes, and the Trans-Saharan trade. Some of the similarities obviously would have been the fact that they all transported large amounts of goods. Some of the differences would have been that some of them traveled by land and others by sea. We also talked about the environmental consequences of the exchange, which would have included the movement of various crops and the introduction of crops to areas that would not have otherwise known of them had the trade routes not existed, and the fact that the Black Death or bubonic plague traveled along the trade routes as well, and that was one of the consequences. We had a pair deck during the week that focused on a number of different items, including social hierarchies and decentralization in medieval Europe. I received some feedback on the Unit 1 exam and how the Unit 2 exam might go better, and some of the things that were successful with the Unit 1 exam. We also talked about the Ming Dynasty and economic improvement. Remember that the advent of paper money and also the fact that there were agricultural improvements under the Ming Dynasty that led to economic improvement as well. We also talked about the Indian Ocean trade and environmental and technical knowledge that would have come about or had to be available in order for the Indian Ocean trade to succeed. And that environmental knowledge would have been the knowledge of the monsoon trade winds. Technical knowledge would have included the advent of the compass and larger ships and rudder systems, which would have allowed for greater long-distance trade along the ocean. We also talked about the various long essay types that you would get, you would be exposed to in the AP World History exam, and those included change and continuity, cause and effect, and compare and contrast. We had an Ed puzzle that reinforced some of your knowledge of the Silk Roads. One of the main points of the video that you watched is that the Silk Roads and the people who engaged in trade along them basically created a predecessor to modern globalization and trade. I assigned and gave you a long essay outline dividing information between China and Europe. You had to break down internal and external factors, as well as administrative institutions and the centralization of power. It also included possible thesis arguments. Remember, you are to work on that as well as creating the first two paragraphs for the essay as well, at least in rough draft form, so we can do some workshopping come Monday. We had multiple choice and writing prompt work as well. We practiced an MC question that analyzed the causes of the growth of cities. Hint, it had to do with the increased interregional trade brought on by the emergence of the Silk Roads. We also had a writing prompt that allowed for a preliminary introduction to one of the short answer questions for the Unit 2 exam, which is coming up, and that had to do with the spread of Buddhism and its relation to patterns of cultural diffusion. What's coming up next? We are going to be working in a different time window. We will continue to work on the long essay and workshop those first two paragraphs, as I said before. Our four-class focus will continue to be effective communication, and there will be an exit ticket this week. We'll also work on the Unit 2 exam come Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll begin Unit 3 on land-based empires, such as the Manchu in China, the Mughal in India, the Safavid in Persia, and the Ottoman in Turkey. So that's it.